This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
It's no monkeypox, right? You're good. No stomach virus. No, you're good.
I think so.
Okay.
By the way, it was a very good summary of the events that led to my appearance right now. Exactly, word for word, too.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. I was completely dissed yesterday. I have no time for you. Okay. Time for you. No. Now he has all the time in the world for us. Wait, you're not going to watch Eagles practice, bro? Break it down?
Not allowed, even if we wanted to. And they're done. They're done already. But we were not allowed.
No shit. Wow. Interesting. So they closed it off. Wow. Okay. All right. You know what? I get that makes some sense. You know why? Because then you guys join in the press conferences and then you're asking questions that maybe, it's not good for the Eagle writers and all that kind of stuff and the media relations. So they probably said, yeah, let's just keep it with our people and that way we're in and out. And
no, and it was the same thing for the Mike McDaniel press conference. There was no Eagles writers. So
okay,
no big deal either way. I didn't have any interest in watching the Eagles practice anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, no. Did the Eagles writers after practice tear down the goalposts?
I don't know. I haven't been out on the field. I don't know.
I don't know. In honor of their fans, I'm just wondering if they, trash the place after. I'm just saying, it's just one of those things that they do, right?
Well, and they're probably not happy about getting their butts down here early, practicing in 105-degree weather when they could have just stayed in Philly.
Yeah, but listen, the positive is it wasn't monkeypox.
Correct.
That's the positive.
That's very positive.
I'm terrified already that they're going to come out and tell us that it spreads through the air or touching or whatever and all that. Because right now, they're keeping it to a specific community and certain contact. But you know how it is. Then they find out more about these things, and then all of a sudden they spring it on us. Oh no, it can spread easily, and we're like, oh crap! Now we're all racing to go get the damn vaccine. But anyway, so it is what it is. So. Your assessment yesterday overall, first of all, since we've got to talk about the quarterbacks, the line.
Always.
Go ahead. Talk about Skyler doesn't count. He barely did anything yesterday. It's not his fault or anything. It's just the way things worked out.
No, dude, that's like 2 straight practices. He didn't throw a single pass in team drills. Not one.
Yeah.
So
they're done exposing him, bro.
Well, no, for anybody suggesting when he's ready to become the number 2 quarterback. So, yes, we're done. Okay. Well, whenever we talk about the practice yesterday, full disclosure right away, I was focusing a lot more on the Dolphin offense versus the Eagles defense.
Right.
Whenever I got a chance, I was sneaking over the far field for the vice versa issue. So, but my focus was on the Dolphin offense. And having said that, Tua had a very good day. I don't know that I'm going to go as far as what some reports I saw where he was torching the Eagles and all that. I think that was a little over the top.
Played well.
But he played well. And again, the thing that strikes me every time I watch this Dolphin offense, and it's the same against Tampa Bay, is Tyreek Hill is running open all the time. I mean, nobody can cover the guy.
You can't.
I mean, my Lord.
Which tells you, by the way, that KC is going to be missing something. There's no doubt, bro. There's no doubt. Mahomes is great, but he also makes you that much better, bro. That's just, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, except, Andy Reid is an offensive genius. Yes, he's going to find a way to scheme other guys open. If I'm a Chiefs fan, I think I'm okay with going into this season. So anyway, going back to the question, yes, Tua was at a very good performance. Made all the throws that were asked of him. I think it was 14 for 20 that included a spike. It included a throwaway when Teron Armstead actually got beat on a pass rush by the Eagles' right defensive end. So the passing was there. So it was a very productive practice for him. Bridgewater, where I charted him at 2 for 7, but there were 3 plays in a row where basically he had 3 defensive linemen in his lap as he was throwing the ball. And there was one pass, his last pass of the day, which really annoyed me because the writers around me are telling me, what a terrible throw. It's 5 yards short. And the guy literally was backpedaling as he was throwing because the Eagles defensive line was pushing the Dolphin offensive lineman back into Bridgewater. So this is not to say he was great in practice yesterday, because he wasn't. But there were factors around it. So it wasn't like the guy completely sucked. I mean, some of his throws, he didn't have much of a chance on him.
That's okay. So overall, for me, when you look at the line now, and I went over and I looked at the one-on-ones. I'm going to tell you something from left field here. That's going to go over to the left guard. I would take Eichenberg out, and I would put Dieter at my left guard spot and use Ike as my swing tackle. I thought Dieter did a really good job yesterday on one-on-ones. I think he'll end up being the better guard out of the two. I think this guy's more of a tackle. Every time I look at that line, he's been the one that I've been concerned about every time. It's not Austin Jackson. It's not Hunt. It's not Connor, who was clean yesterday with the snapping, and his blocking is outstanding. So it doesn't really. I'm not worried about his blocking. And then Teron Armstead. I got to tell you, Ike is the one guy that I have not been convinced with so far, week after week. I know you watch this a lot, but my reasoning is I think Dieter is naturally a guard. That's his natural position. You get him in there, I think he'll be the better guard. 2, he's in the middle of the fray. Something happens to Connor, he can slide over right away. He's already in a groove because he's playing. And at the same time, he's next to Connor the entire time while Connor's making all the calls. So he's in that groove also. But if you have him on the bench and Ike isn't doing such a good job, or if Connor gets injured, then all of a sudden he comes in to replace Connor and he's cold and he's got to get in a groove and all of that. So, one, I've been more impressed with Dieter blocking. I'd use him as my left guard, and I'd use Ike. And you have problems with your swing tackle as it is. I think he's more of a natural tackle. Your thoughts on that craziness?
It's actually not that crazy, which is kind of surprising from you. But no, it actually there's a lot of merit to what you're saying. I'm not totally sure necessarily. I'll go 100% along with you with the idea of he needs to be in there to be ready to move to center if he has to.
He doesn't need to be.
It helps. It helps, no question.
Of course.
Here's the issue on there, and somewhat similar to the idea of not necessarily of wanting to give Noah every single solitary chance to work out as a cornerback. I think there might be something there with the idea of you traded up. You gave up a 3rd-round pick to trade up in the 2nd round last year to get Eichenberg and to remove him from the starting lineup in his 2nd year. I think it's a step that they would do only as a last resort, and they would do it holding their nose because they would hate doing it. Right or wrong.
I get it. I know you're 1,000% right. And listen, they forgot more about offensive line play than I'll ever know. But I'm just curious on what your eyes has told you when you watch those two guys. Just out of curiosity, what have you seen when you watch those two guys?
Okay, I'll be honest with you. I have not noticed Michael Dieter one way or the other. The two guards I have noticed, I've noticed Robert Hunt at times with some good blocks. I did notice a good block by Eichenberg one time. I think it was yesterday.
Yes, there was one. I do remember what you're talking about. Yes.
There also have been plays where I didn't like what I saw from Eichenberg.
Would you agree with me that when there is a breakdown on the line lately, it's usually him from the starting 5?
No, he's the shakiest one of the 5 to me, without question. I almost think from what I saw in the games that Solomon Kinley's actually outplayed him. Of course, he's not. He's going against
second teamers,
more backups, correct? But from what I've seen, but again, having said all that,
his mobility is because that's we were worried about his weight.
Yeah.
Because then that would hurt his mobility, and you need mobility in this line.
You do.
And especially if you're the guard center spots, they're going to want you to be mobile there for sure. You know, I mean, they'll use the tackles too, but I think overall the guards and the centers, and I've been really impressed the way Slomin moves, man. Maybe that's what he was working on. He was working on his speed and footwork, not the weight. He probably thought he's fine in weight and leverage and all that stuff, which, when he does get his hands on you, and he gets the leverage, you're done pretty much.
That's a big dude. No,
That's
when training camp started, I didn't have him making my 53. And in my last 2 roster projections, I've got him on there based on what I've seen in practice and, supplemented by what I saw in the 2 preseason games.
We talk about it, but somehow or another, they don't show this to us. And we say, well, they need a center. Well, they make no moves for a center. Oh, they need a cornerback. Yeah, they're not making any moves for a cornerback. The Van Ginkel thing, we now realized. Oh, God, his appendix. Oh, bring in Flowers. Let's see where he's at so we can see what's going on if it's serious. Oh, okay, it's not that serious. He'll be back. All right, we don't need Trey. So you could already see the writing on the wall on that one. But the other ones that there are concerns, well, the center spot, he was clean yesterday. And overall, the snapping is not terrible. It's just slightly high that there's a couple times that the quarterback's going to have to adjust. That's not the worst thing in the world. But it's interesting how we have, shown us some level of panic on this, but somehow or another they're comfortable with their backups at corner. They're comfortable with their options at center. So you tell me what you see or what you think they see overall with Crossan and Kahoo and obviously with Dieter and any other option at center for them.
No, I think they like their cornerback depth. And it's not, I don't mind it either once you go 4 or 5. My biggest concern all along has been that Byron Jones is on such another level, him and X, to anybody else they have on the roster. Well, if Byron Jones can't start at the start of the regular season, not sure you're getting anybody else around the league who's going to be that kind of guy.
Positive shit has to be happening behind the scenes that they're not making a move with Byron. It has to be. There's no way. He doesn't practice, and yet they're not concerned. That tells me that behind the scenes, he must be running around doing stuff that they must be satisfied with his progress because there is zero panic in that area.
But here's the thing, though, Big O, is who else is out there in the NFL who's Byron Jones level? The guys But the guys you're going to get are guys like, or maybe not that much. Maybe they have more proven experience than your Keon Crossan and your Kader Kahoo, who's a really good-looking rookie free agent, but are not necessarily that much better. So why make a move there? We are hoping Byron Jones is going to be ready, and if he's not, we're going to have an issue regardless, and it's not somebody out there. I mean, Mackenzie Alexander, I mean, no offense to him, but he's not on the level of Byron Jones. He's closer to Keon Crossan and Kader Kahoo. The one area to me that's screaming right now as an issue, and you kind of came up with a good solution to it, and I don't want to downplay it because you make perfect sense, but it's backup tackle. I mean, Jesus Christ. Greg Little and Arnell Coleman are your 2 guys right now. And that's not proven. That's shaky.
Yeah, it's very shaky. I'm with you there. I'm a little nervous about that one, and that's why Eichenberg is a natural tackle, and Dieter's a natural left guard, and so and I think Dieter's the better guard. I'm sorry, when I'm watching them, yesterday I thought he was really stout on the one-on-ones. I walked over to the other side to watch that specifically. And by the way, Blaze Andrews, he actually did well in those one-on-ones.
He's still not making the team.
No, I know, but he actually did well on the one-on-ones that I was like, whoa, that's Blaze Andrews? What? Like, he did it a couple times. I'm like, wow, okay, good for you, young man. You know what I'm saying? But still, Eichenberg would be the guy that I would do at that spot. I would move over this guy and use Eichenberg as the swing tackle.
Or maybe they keep Eichenberg as a starting left guard, again, based on the issue of you don't want to make that move a year after surrendering back up. And they have it in the back of their mind that if either Armstead or Austin Jackson has to miss time, then they'll swing out Eichenberg, keep him in the starting lineup, and insert Dieter at guard.
Okay.
Or Solomon Kinley.
All right. So you were of the ilk that there will be no dress rehearsal here. It was last week. I thought there would be a dress rehearsal this week. Now, with this cancellation, does that change your mind, or are they done and we'll see all the backups to decide the last couple of spots?
Yeah, based on what Mike McDaniel said this morning, if I'm going to read between the lines, he kind of placed an emphasis on this last preseason game being a final opportunity for a lot of the young guys to earn a roster spot, which leads me to believe that it's going to be a heavy dose of non-starters. And then you throw this wrinkle here of guys who were affected. We don't know the exact number. He said it's more than a couple, but it's not half the team. We don't know if it's which players we're talking about. I'd still be inclined to think that we probably won't see Tua, Tyreek, Teron, X, and a whole litany of frontline players.
Okay. Tommy wants to complain that the light behind Poop needs to be removed or move your podcast. You're fine.
Hold on.
You're fine, bro.
Dude, I try. I aim to please. I'm actually in the Dolphins.
You're fine, bro. It's just to be complaining about that.
I'm in the Dolphins interview room.
Tommy. I gotta follow up Tommy.
Is this better, Tommy? I'm a people pleaser. Don't you know that by now? There you
go. You're the best, brother. You are the best. There you go. All right, what do you got working on alldolphins.com as you get us ready for the Saturday game, my friend?
Yeah, well, there's been a lot this morning already with the whole Gesicki situation, and I'm sure you heard what Mike McDaniel had to say about it with this deal, kind of a denial. So examine his comments and put them in context. So that's been
so few options right now to move him, man. It's not that easy. It's a nice thought to have, but and watching the offense, Smythe is the guy they want. And by the way, the kid from last year, the Boston College kid, dude, he blocked his ass off yesterday. Okay, I was impressed with his block, and I think
good.
And that's what's going on, dude. That's what's going on. They can work with Smythe and him because they can block, and they need a guy that can sell both. It's the only way you're talking about an offense that is based on misdirection, trying to fool you constantly, and you can't put Jordan Howard at running back, and if you put Mike Gesicki at tight end, you're just giving away the things that you're going to do, unfortunately. And
no, that's fair.
And I think that's what's developing. And when I saw the young kid yesterday on the one-on-ones be pretty damn stout in his blocking, I'm like, okay, this is what's happening here. And Smythe, by the way, looks comfortable as hell.
The dude's been rock solid since he's been here. He's extraordinarily unspectacular, but he is very, very efficient. How's that for a compliment?
Well, you know what? You know what he reminds you of? Anthony Fasano.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's a good comp.
Not going to wow you with any kind of athleticism, but he's going to wow you because he's consistent as a mofo. Mm-hmm. He'll block. He'll run his route exactly like you ask. And if you throw him the damn ball, he's going to catch the ball. And that's it. And that's what you need in this offense. And the day they can be blessed by a Kittle, and that's fine. But those things don't come. They don't grow on trees, unfortunately. By the way, the other good news was Nick Needham was day to day.
Correct. Correct. One quick other point I want to make, because we talked about the tight ends.
Mm-hmm.
That other kid they got is an absolute keeper. He's either going to wind up on IR or he's going to make the team. And
Tanner Connor?
The kid's a keeper. Yeah.
So you feel they won't even sneak him onto the practice squad?
They won't be able to. They won't be able to. He's going to get picked up. That kid's a keeper.
I love that. I love the idea of the IR. I love that. That's a great move.
Yeah, he's got like a nasty knee brace on, and if it looks like it could be a bit, I could see him winding up on IR. I don't see the Dolphins letting go of this kid. He's got something.
Right. The only thing I didn't see is if he can block. I'm not sure about that. That's the part I didn't really.
I haven't paid attention to that. I saw him get his ass down the field in the preseason game and be the first guy there on a special teams on a kick against Tampa Bay, and that was like that kind of. And if you know the kid's like history as a track athlete in Idaho,
right?
And you watch him in practice, and the guy is very noticeable.
Okay. Interesting stuff. As always, alldolphins.com. You must bookmark it. If not, you're not really a real Dolphins fan. I just want you to know that. I don't know if you knew that, but the only way you become a true Dolphins fan is by bookmarking alldolphins.com and visit it at least 7 to 8 times a day. Just telling you. Anyway, and follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL as he gets it done every week for us here with our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report. Alain, as always, thank you, my friend. We'll catch up next week.
You have a great weekend.
You got it. There you go. Alain Poupart and our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.